I am going to call this meeting to order at 10:08 a.m. I know that Jennifer's going to be a few minutes late. She did text me. So did everybody get the minutes from last meeting? I know they were sent out this morning, and I made sure I sent them to the advisors this morning as well.
Yeah, I got over them.
Okay, so I'm waiting for does anybody okay, let's see. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes from March 11th?
I move that we approve the minutes from our last meeting on March 11th.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Hearing crickets. All those in favor to approve the minutes of March 11th, either say aye, put an emoji up, or raise your hand.
Do all three. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is everybody. So that has passed. Ernest, the floor is yours for Constitution Committee.
Nothing to report. Sorry guys, I wasn't able to come to the last non-SGA meeting, but I have nothing to report. I don't know what happened over there.
You broke up, Ernest. What's up?
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Chloe, do you have anything for Ways and Means?
I do actually. So I have three things I want to bring up. So one is from the Dental Hygiene Club. They're requesting let me just double check, $190 for the Mass Dental Hygiene Association. They're going it's the third annual student summit for the dental hygiene students from District 1 New England, meeting for networking, review, and professionalism. And they're requesting $100 to go. They need it by April 2nd.
Okay. So
Is that for tickets, or is it just for transportation, or they're just picking up lunch? Did they say?
It's the student registration.
Oh, okay.
it's their cost of attending the conference, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So do you want to make a motion to approve that, Chloe? If they have it, do they have it in their funds?
I don't know if they requested it
From student government?
I don't know if I can see.
Don't worry about
because I can't.
Yeah.
Hmm?
If they will, I mean, we can approve it, and then, if we approve it, it's fine. Then, we can just let them know we've approved it, and they can send the request, the dynamic form and stuff.
That's what's gonna have to be. There's no other time to put it off.
Well, they need it by April 2nd, so we don't meet until after that. So
yeah. Okay. So I want to entertain a motion to approve the funding request for the Dental Hygiene Club to go to the student summit, the dental summit.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
Just just for my own curiosity here, did you say it was they had the funding, or is this like asking us to provide the difference?
So the type of it looks like it's asking for a reimbursed supplement. That's the box that's checked off. It's payment. It's asking for like a mailed check.
So what it
But I
sounds
don't see
like,
where
what it's,
but it doesn't say like
sounds
what
like is
exactly
they-
the account is from.
it would probably come, because if you think about it, we're in charge as the student government of all of the club accounts. So everything has to be signed off and approved by us. So I think, so we're in charge of each club's account. So that's why they have to come to us for approval. And am I right regarding that, Candace, I think?
So I was going to ask, do we know how much is in their account?
I don't think we have
And-
access to their account directly, but I know we have enough in the student, our account,
We
which
have
I
enough
know
allocated.
is,
So it's literally
we have
like-
enough allocated to each club.
right. So like them getting the funding, I think at this point would be just, yeah, they're gonna get the funding. But I feel like this confusion shouldn't be a thing. We should like, why do we not have that immediate information?
agree,
Why do we know what type
and-
of request is being sent to us? Especially at such short-term notice. It just,
It has
So
the
let's-
account number, but I don't know if it's from.
Well,
It doesn't like the name of the account. It just has a number that it's from.
So let's do this. Let's take this vote and we'll Chloe notify them that they've been approved pending which account. Depending on which, they've been approved, but we need to figure out which account this money will be coming from. Because what I'm hearing, and I could be wrong,
and I
is that
think it's coming,
what I'm hearing is we're not
What was that,
positive.
Candace?
I'm hearing we're not positive of where it's going to come from, and the person that would know that is Kathy Matson. So if it's approved and if this is okay,
and
with
she's in
Cody,
Pennsylvania right now.
right? If it's okay with Cody, we'll just say we've approved you pending the fund availability, and that way we're covering our Heine, saying we approve it, but we're not sure that we have the funds for it. And if we do, you will get that. When do they need this by again?
the 2nd, April 2nd.
Yeah, they need it
Okay.
by April 2nd.
So, okay. And this is where you were questioning how they were going to get the money, right?
Because we need to
Okay.
make a decision now, but that information, I don't,
No, that makes sense. So what I would say is this, if we're pretty sure that we would be able to take it out of the general fund, if they don't have this money in their account, you can approve it. If we're not sure of that, we should wait. And
So,
maybe
Um,
go ahead.
Because we definitely have enough allocate funds to them. Because I don't think we've really gotten many request forms, and because of COVID, everything's really slow. So for them to request money, it doesn't deal. I can tell you exactly how much is in the account if my computer. I've been having technical difficulties.
you need to, so basically, what I'm seeing right now is, what we have the amount, and what happens is each club is, because remember, I don't know if you guys remember Kathy talking about this, but instead of allotting the clubs a certain amount each semester, they decided because of COVID, they're just going to send us the funding requests.
That's true. That is
And
true.
if we have it in the club account, which we do, so it would come out of the club account. Cody, is your
Okay.
answer.
That makes sense. I'm remembering that. That's right. Each club would individually have to come to get funding, and it would be approved, and then they would get the funding. I'm remembering that now.
Yes, because I was looking back and I'm looking at all of the funding because I have access to the funding requests that we've done that have been submitted. And it's just been, people would submit their funding request and we'd approve it. And then it would, they'd fill out their form. So if we approve it, then they can submit their form to Chloe to get signatures, to get the signature, and then they'll get the balance. So we're just approving that we allow them to get the funds.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have
So
shut me up.
okay. So
No,
all
that was
those
a good question. That was a good question,
it was a
Cody.
good question,
No,
Cody.
no. And that was an equally good answer. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah.
We need just to make sure of that. And
Yes, of course. And
Well,
because student government, because our group has changed so much since the fall and spring semester, it's always good to go over that information. You know what I'm saying?
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So, okay. So all of those in favor of approving the dental club for, what is it, Chloe, 198?
$190.
$190. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I think Ernest, do you have an eye or is it in the chat? Look at the chat. Yep. Okay. All those opposed? The motion passes. You can let them know, Chloe. Anything else regarding that? Okay, Cody, what's up before that?
So this has nothing to do with that. I don't know if you want to close first and then come back to me.
I would close. Yeah, I would have
Okay.
Chloe finish before we go back to you.
Yeah, I do have I had things. So that was one. My computer is being extremely slow. So I apologize for this. So there's another one that was requested by Kathy. She'd like to for the esports tournament. She's looking to request funds to be used to purchase $7 lunch cards for all the esports participants on April 1st. So the requested amount was $350.
Okay. So that would come out of the club account as well, because that would, okay. So, do you want to make a motion to Chloe, since that's your area?
Yeah. So I entertain a motion to approve the request for the esports tournament for $350 lunch cards for the participants.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, actually, any discussion before we put it to a vote? Hearing, seeing no hands. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is unanimous. So that, Chloe, that's all set.
Okay, and then I have one more. This one's also This one's for our leadership. So those of you who attended last summer's leadership event by Dave Kelly, there's another virtual SGA University event on Saturday, June 18th from 12 to 6 p.m. All the SGA members and advisors are able to attend live or watch the recorded sessions. This is open to campuses across the country and will provide an opportunity for MWCC SGA members to net SGA members from other classes. Kathy brought this up to me the other day in a meeting. And so it would be $900 for the advisors. And I think it's anybody who is interested in to get that training from Dave Kelly.
And I'm going to be going over a little
And
bit
for us,
more
it
of
would,
that. It's on the agenda as well.
Hmm?
The SGA University is also on the agenda.
oh, okay.
So
So do we want to put a pin in this and then come back around to it?
nope, we can approve the funds for now. And then we can do, then I can talk about the whole, because once the funds get approved, then we know that I can talk about it when it comes up on the agenda item.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then, so even if people aren't able to make the June 18th, I believe it will be also recorded, so everybody can get in the training, or if they're only able to be there for a little bit. So I feel like last summer, it was a good opportunity, especially for myself, where I had no idea anything about student government. So people who are coming in, and even for those of us who are staying, I feel like it's a good, it would be a good reminder and educational situation to be in, to have kind of the know of what is going on. So
Okay. So you get to,
okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to pay $900 from the SGA funds to Dave Kelly for the virtual SGA University being held on Saturday, June 18th, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you.
okay. All of those in favor, actually, any discussion about the cost only? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the motion passes, so they can have it. That's all set, Chloe. That's the third one.
Yep, I believe that is it for now. Yep.
So there's nothing else from Ways and Means?
No.
Okay. Cody, do you want to ask your question before you go on? Because you're next on student trustee.
Yeah. So, Chloe, you were talking about how you're having trouble with the internet and stuff like that. My thought to ask to you is you can turn your camera off. I bring my laptop to take meetings, and usually the camera is the big culprit and messes with my my search bars and stuff like that. That could help. The follow-up thing in my mind was, I know for other groups, for when they're doing voting, they need to have their camera on. Obviously, I don't think it applies here, but I don't know if is there a meeting other than trustee where we need to have our cameras on? I don't know if you know, Candace.
There is
So
actually, I think
there is?
academic senate.
The academic senate? Okay.
So, I mean, the general, it sort of depends on what the agreement is, you know. There can be an agreement that especially if you're taking votes about money, I would think you would want to see, you could always use the hand raise function, which people do, but I don't know if we sort of established that at the beginning of this go around that cameras needed to be on. But it would have to be sort of a group norm type of thing, if that makes any sense.
That might be something you want to, and this is just my thought, Cody, that might be because we are so, we're so close to the end of the semester. You might want to bring that up for next year's SGA as well.
This is purely the journalism 1 student in me here for just
Yes,
my own.
I understand that.
I wasn't putting it forward like, Ernest, I'm sick and tired of you without your camera on. That I was just saying
But
that
you also got to remember, people could be,
right.
you never know. He could be where his camera's off and his mic's off. He could be driving.
No, I think when it comes to camera, especially like Candace said, when it comes to money and voting on money,
Yeah.
I think that's when just for like, you had some guy who broke into your house hitting the space bar on the raise hand feature, right? But
Yeah.
Just curious.
Okay. So Cody, you're actually up next with student trustee.
Yeah. So, nothing really to report. We had a meeting. I think it was on the 16th, 17th. Quote me on that one. 16th, 17th, but due to low attendance, they had to reschedule. So I'm waiting to hear back from that. So nothing to report as of now.
Okay. Do you want me to take SAC or you want to take SAC?
You can take SAC. I want my name's popping up later.
Okay.
Rest my
The
voice.
good thing I was going to say, you probably want me to take SAC because I have the email opened up.
That too.
So, regarding Student Advisory Council, we do have 2 upcoming meetings. One is a special meeting because they're going to be talking about the upcoming student advice. Actually, let me go back. I'm sorry. The Community Building Day on April 6th. I had gotten an email, and Cody was part of this too, that we are doing the Community Building Day on April 6th. Everybody voted on the sticker type thing, if you guys remember that. And if I'm not mistaken, regarding the meeting I had with Kathy on Tuesday, what it sounds like is the 3rd sticker one, which is what it seemed like
correct.
a lot of people voted on.
Not to diss other stickers, but as it should. That one was really good.
Yeah, that one was really, really good. Okay, so what we are planning, what the plan is going to be with Community Building Day is it's more, we always thought it was focused towards campus police. It's not. They're changing the way of the focus. The Community Building Day is now going to be part of like the diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I don't know if you guys have read the papers lately in the local area, but the Mount did hire a new DEI coordinator, which is kind of funny because I found out on Worcester TNG.
Chief Diversity Officer.
Yes, we hired a new chief diversity officer. And from what I had found, what I had seen and had done some background on, this person has a very good background. She's coming from a very good area. She actually used to work for the city of Worcester before she came to us. That's probably why it was in the TNG.
If you want me to talk more about her at some point, I will.
I was going to have you do that when you had your part of the faculty liaison type part.
And I know, Cody, you went to the interviews too, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to one of them. So I was literally about to bring up if you could speak a little bit to how she handled that interview. I wasn't able to pick that one.
Absolutely.
So what the plan is going to be for Community Building Day, is we're gonna set up in the south calf near the windows. And they're gonna have that live stream for the events, and the live stream is going to be starting at 10:30 to 1. And we do have, it will host a, this is what it says. It says, Student Advisory Council has put together a statewide webinar where we will host panel conversation with state leaders and students. This will take place from 10:30 to 1, include Commissioner Santiago, President Pajada from Quinsig, and other student leaders. And it's also going to be live streamed on YouTube, which is really, really good. So for those who can't attend, we can actually, we can watch it as well. And I lost the email. I lose things, sorry. So, what it looks like is, we're going to be doing the, having, oh, there it is. Sorry. They're also going to have an area available for campus police, the diversity, equity, and inclusion team. I think her name is Stephanie Williams, who is the newly hired chief diversity exec officer. And she starts on the 4th. So this will be kind of a nice, introducing her to the students type thing and letting them to get to know her.
Stephanie, I'm sorry, I missed what day that was. I apologize.
The community building day is April 6th. And so they're also, we're going to be present at that. Alana is going to be present. So we might want to reach out to Alana. I think, Chloe, did you reach out to Alana?
So I did. I talked to the advisor, and so they actually ended up having a meeting with Kathy after that as well.
Mhm.
So I'm not entirely sure. I didn't get like a idea of what's happening with that because they ended up with talking with Kathy.
Okay, so I will shoot an email to Kathy, and then I'll just, if I get a response, I'll just let everybody know. And going back to Student Advisory Council, they're actually in the process of going to have to change the bylaws. And we have a special SAC meeting on the 13th about that. And then I think our last SAC meeting, because it's elections, will be held on April 28th. I know we're still in the process of trying to get the segmental students, which are the representatives, one from the community college, one from the state college, and one from the UMass system, because it's a revolving. So like this year it's I think it's the UMass student who sits on the board of trustees with the Department of Higher Education. We only get one vote. So because we have 3 representatives, we're trying to make it so we can get all 3 of them as voting members. So that's one of the things we're working on. And I think that is about it. Have I missed anything, Cody?
No, you're pretty spot on.
Okay. Okay, so Chloe, do you have anything from Student Body Liaison?
I don't have anything new. I just wanted to kind of give a backup on what happened last week. Able to get the form from the student. I'm not from the student. I got the form from Kathy regarding the student who reached out, and then I was able to reach back out to him and then I haven't anything back though. But I was able to get that, and I was kind of like wondering why I'm not able to go back and see these forms after they've been submitted. Like I can
That
see
would-
them initially, but I don't have access to them after. So
That would be something you would probably want to ask Kathy.
okay, sounds good. I just
Yep.
want to say that that I was able to reach out, so he did get the information he was looking for. So hopefully we'll see him on SGA come April, May. So
Excellent. If you haven't heard anything, Chloe, you might want to, just send him a double back to him and see what's up.
yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, just as a suggestion. So of course, Academic Senate, which actually was a really good meeting on Tuesday. It was our what they considered our open meeting of this as Academic Senate, where we have one open meeting a semester, which is open to anybody, any staff. And it was actually a pretty good meeting. It was a pretty big meeting too. A lot of it was talking about, and I'm going to leave, Candace, I'm going to you on this.
Sure, you're talking about, so there, every year, the union gathers information about how many people who are considered faculty, people who are considered professional staff, and how many people we consider NUPs, non-unit professionals. So those are people like Jim, people like Dr. Eisler, people like Leanne, people who are in sort of supervisory roles. And it came to the attention, I sent it out, that there are as many full-time faculty and professional staff as there are sort of these higher level people. And we're one of the colleges that the ratio is so out of balance. It's not very good. I have to put my head down because we have a lot of people who we would consider not people working with you, right? We want as many people working with the students. And what it says is, as many people are working with the students, there are people who are supervising those people. So, and I'm happy to send you that information if you want it. So we had a conversation.
I have it, so I'll put it on the Google Drive.
Okay. We had a conversation around sort of what we could do to fix that. And then the president said, and I think I heard him right, and if I'm wrong, Stephanie, correct me, he was going to be hiring 12 new faculty members. Did you hear that? Okay.
I did.
So is the ratio going to be super different? I don't know. We'll see. But that's one of the things also, this big study, this NECHI study, it's going to be brought up there too, where we're really top heavy. And because a lot, and you probably know this, a lot of your classes are taught by adjunct faculty, a lot of them. And that's where the issue is. Adjunct faculty are great. But what an institution should be doing is hiring full-time faculty that have office hours, that are able to be on committees like I am. Adjunct faculty rarely do that. So there's less people to be on committees. There's less people to sort of do this other work because there are a lot of people who are contingent faculty. And in the human service department, I think 80% of our courses, 80% of our courses are taught by what we would consider adjunct or adjunct courses. So, and it's not the college's fault, but it is a little bit because we're underfunded. The state does not give us enough funding. It just doesn't. So that's sort of a short, I didn't say as much about this, but I complained about our department only having 3 full-time faculty. I did complain about that, right, Stephanie?
Yes, you did.
And us begging for another full-time faculty to teach psych and social and human services. So
And
that's what you wanted
another
me to
thing,
talk about, right? Uh-huh.
and another thing that was also brought up regarding the top heavy situation, which I thought, goes back to even our community building day that we're having on campus is even though we're so top heavy, we don't have that much diversity in our faculty
Right.
and
Yeah,
staff,
that's it. Right.
and that is, thinking, people had brought up, well, oh, it's because, we don't have the funding for it, or that they don't find out about it until after it's posted
That's
and
right.
filled. So I guess, I guess that's something that President Vanderhooven's going to bring to the hiring team or something like that. And I know another thing is there's talks of amending the Academic Senate Constitution and bylaws. I can, stuff like that. And so I'll make sure the MCCC Board of Directors report that Candace was speaking about gets on the Google Drive. And Cody, you have a question?
Yeah. I just want to ask them about like the top heavy situation here. You said that for one, surprised me that the disparity is that aligned with each other between staff and people who are managing the staff. Second of all, the entire Jim's response was like, okay, we'll hire 12 new people. We'll hire full faculty. We'll bump the percentages in a different direction here. My question here is then, if it's not a problem, I don't think I know enough to call it a problem, but if the issue is that the staff is top heavy, then adding more staff isn't really going to change. It changes the percentages, but it doesn't change the view of the issue, which was that there's way too many managing people and not enough other people. So wouldn't to reduce the amount of managing people, wouldn't that be a better forward than more than that stuff? I don't know how necessary. I bet Jim and the people who are on the payroll for those things could put up a really good argument to convince me that that's why they need to be on campus. But maybe adding 12 new people is a good step, but maybe it's not the answer.
Right. What I would say, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was thinking, when we were talking about top heavy, it's like management is more top heavy than the faculty. And the issue is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, this is what I heard in the meeting, is a lot of the faculty have been, we've had a lot of faculty gaining emeritus status or retiring. And we are, they're not filling those positions as quickly as the turnaround is not happening. So basically, they're just saying, it was okay. We had, let's see, I'm thinking 3 professors that gained emeritus status. And I know last semester I had one of those professors.
Right. So what, Cody, to answer your question is, you're right. And what I would say is that what happens is this, and this is a bad example because this is actually one of the places I think there needs to be sort of 2 levels. Right now, and I don't know if you remember Paul Hernandez. Remember Paul Hernandez?
Yeah, Paul.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. His job was the VP of basically what Dr. Eisler is doing and what Jason's doing. So he was the person sort of supervising both of those things. I actually think that makes sense. But what is happening is stuff like that is happening in other divisions. And we're like, and so instead of hiring, and this is what I think is happening, instead of hiring someone to do the work. So if they hire a ASME, someone who's sort of just, pushing papers, they hire a manager. So they're not necessarily in a union, but they're doing basically stuff that someone in a union could do. And what has happened is over time, it's become blurrier and blurrier. And I'm not saying that they're anti-union, but it's become blurrier and blurrier what is union work and what is sort of not union work. And in that, we have, and if you, don't believe me. I always tell students, do not believe me. Google Mount Wachusett Community College. What is it called? Their structure, and I can't think of the name of it.
Hierarchy?
It's a hierarchy. Google it. Look at it and see that there are some places where there's 13 or 14 people, and then 1 or 2 people they supervise, that this person supervises. So for one person, they're supervising 2 people, right? And I'm not saying I want anyone to lose their job. What is it called? I'll think about it. But Google it yourself. Look at our org chart. Look at Mount Wachusett Community College's org chart. Don't take my word for it. You're going to see that there are a lot of people here, and then there are people here, and then there's like 1 or 2 people in some places. So that's the problem. So you're right, Cody, like the idea that you should sort of start skimming off the top. But the problem now is that if you skim off the top, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, you know, who's going to do that work? Is it union work, or is it work that the supervisor is going to have to take on? If they gave me a summer in an org chart, I could probably fix it. But right now, and the other thing to take into consideration is that grants may require that level of staffing. So there's a whole lot of moving parts. But it's something that has been a bone of contention for the faculty and professional staff for a couple of years now, and it's just coming out because we see our colleagues going away and not being hired, but we see a manager being hired in another area. I'm sorry.
Cody, you have another question?
Yeah, so thank you. I feel like I had a bad perspective, a misunderstanding coming into this conversation then, because from my perspective, I thought maybe there was a build up of one over the other, or there's a slow decline of the other. I think it's, like you said, Stephanie, like a variety of factors of people are now retiring, so that number's getting lower, and maybe they're building up. But from what you're saying, it seems like there was a river situation where there's path of least resistance, and as like a band-aid fix to a growing problem. But now, after years, that band-aid solution has just ballooned into the new norm, and it's now where the river's already been made. What do we go from here?
I'm going to give you an example. When I first started working here in 2004, there was a department of 6 that taught psych, social, and human services. 6, and then we went up to 7 at one point. We're down to 3 now. So 18 years later, someone retired like 5 years ago, they didn't fill the position. Myself, Julie, and Sheila I do not teach a full course load. I teach 3 courses. So my other 2 courses are taught by contingent faculty. I just give you the example of, you know, this is not something that just happened overnight, Cody. Like this has been a couple of decades where now we're going the other way, where, like I said, I was hired, there were 6 people in my department, and now there's 3. And we're one of the areas, I'm sorry, I'm taking up time. We're one of the areas that deal with most of the college. So it's not going to be solved overnight. I think we need to be very sort of cautious with who we hire and why we hire them. But there is a whole division of lifelong learning where they have to have certain people there because they're under a grant, and grant requires certain people to be there. And sometimes it's a couple supervisors. So it's not just one sort of quick fix, but you're right, where we need to be very conscious as a college what we're doing and who we're hiring, what we're hiring people for. So.
Sorry, and just respect the time. I'll just leave it as a yes/no answer for you, Candace. Here, you said reduction of the professors in that field. Has your workload gone down at all?
No.
Are you keeping the same amount of classes, or the same amount of classes being taught? With the
For
same,
me?
yeah. I mean, at the college as a
No.
whole, the overall classes have gone down.
So there are less classes that we offer now. Yes, they have gone down.
And I think, from, where, when I looked at the chart, it looks like it's not just Mount Wachusett. It's other schools as well. So it's not something that Mount Wachusett is the singular party dealing with. It's, it is basically the community colleges in general in the state of Massachusetts. So
Yes, we're not an outlier. We're just leading
Yep.
it.
we're just leading the charge, unfortunately. So, okay, we're going to pop on to the next one. Student Success Committee. I don't know who's on that. I don't think anybody's on that, is there? That one's still empty. Academic Environment and Technologies, Cody, that's you. You're muted. We can't hear you. Yeah. Turn it on, Cody.
You guys get to hear me talk again. Isn't that great? So it's normally it was just I wouldn't have anything to report. A lot of it had to do with, as Candace knows, the survey that went out to everyone across the campus, which was surprisingly a lot of responses. There's a lot of a huge policy changing look at how even the professors need to handle themselves on campus. That was a big debate to talk about that. I can go more into detail, but this really doesn't pertain to students. So I would normally not really have much to say other than to getting into the nitty-gritty of those meetings. But two things that come up. First one, the easiest one to get rid of, is that the leaf kit and defibrillator thing, the one that's been going on for multiple years. People have retired at this point since this thing started. And they're finally having a meeting on April 27th to address this problem. And they're going to go from there. I do want to put my toe in the water here and say, if that doesn't happen, if nothing comes of it, if it's just another, we'll push to a next meeting, I would maybe like to bring this up for next meeting and see if we can put out a statement from ourselves, because it's kind of ridiculous. We don't have this kind of equipment on campus, that this isn't not on campus itself, but not that people aren't thinking about it, but it's not actively being acted on. So we'll see how that goes, but I would like to put it up later, see depending on how that goes. The only other major thing that's actually pretty big for us, without surprise is brought up, is that they brought on Dan Horlander to talk about putting in a retention system onto the campus. So it would be a overall program that connects a lot of the advising systems that we have on. Think about handshakers, the advising department, and stuff like that. And this system will give them a proactive approach where each of these 5 different fingers, as it were, are in contact with a singular hand instead of just being their own individual departments on campus. So they have more of a direct line of communication, and students are being able to either be addressed quickly if they're about to drop out, or if they're looking for ways to their future outside of the campus. They have that pipeline and someone to talk to, so they're not just like bouncing around or don't know where to go. So what they talked about was that having the system implemented would have a 10 to 15% increase in retention. That would be pretty good. Sorry, just go over my notes again. Yeah, so this isn't going to happen. So this is more in the talks and getting things to be implemented and how that would look like for our campus. It's going, if it is going, that process is going to move forward. It's something that's going to be happening next year. But that movement to have all those things be more connected under a single umbrella is happening now. And other than that, that's it.
Okay, there's one thing I actually wanted to bring up to, and I don't know if any other students are dealing with this, because I've been contacted regarding this issue, is, and Cody, you might want to see if you can bring this up at the Technologies Committee, is the issue with the staff and students being on 2 separate clients, if you know what I mean.
Could you explain a little bit?
Okay, so, and Candace knows this. The staff use Outlook and like Teams and stuff like that. and we're on Gmail Suite. And like for certain things to go from staff to staff, faculty to students, it's really hard because there's no continuity. So like, here's what I found. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's another obstacle. It's something between two teachers happening, then they need to go to a next step to send that out and relay that to the students.
Well, it's
becoming a
not
little
just
robot.
that. It's like, say, I'll give you a prime example. When a committee sends out meeting minutes, you know, after a meeting. I don't know if you've dealt with this, but it's not like I have to go to the secretary of the committee just to get the meeting minutes because they post it in their Teams account that I don't have access to as a student. So having that streamline of, you know, having this, the secretary of a committee do that extra step because the student sits on that committee is not fair to us as the students who sit on the committee.
Okay. So when the systems works fine, but once they need to intermingle, it's like oil and water.
Yes, because
they
like
block each other out. Okay.
And I think Jen?
Having two separate email accounts also makes it so quite a few times I sent Kathy emails and they went to her spam folder because we're out of the recipient domain.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll send messages from me sometimes to spam, or, you know, from the professors and stuff. Sometimes that might go to spam because it's different domains.
Yep.
Yeah, and I've had problems where like I get something from a professor and it says like something like, "Oh, be careful opening this or replying to this message because they're not in your domain." Yep. So yeah, I've also run into that.
Okay. Candace, do you know what I'm talking about? Because, and I don't mean to put Academic Senate and Kusky on, you know.
No, like, you're right. And what I would say is I have two accounts too. So sometimes students will send it to the account that mirrors their account, and I don't get it because I have like two Gmail accounts, and one of them is a student account because I've taken classes here before. So it's messed up. And just another thing, you know, you guys are not on sort of the or do you get all college emails? Do you get all college emails?
Like if they're going out to like, if the email goes out to, if it's not specifically sent to students, then no.
Right, which you should be on that because, you know, when they send out an announcement, you guys should be able to know that. That's my opinion. No, and you're right. And we don't think about that when we're doing committees because we're sort of censored. So you're right. And, you know, we do need to fix that.
And I understand that a lot of the, you know, like, and as I was saying, I didn't want to put, you know, Kusky on the spot, but when I get the emails for Academic Senate, there's a link for the meeting minutes to, you know, read them and approve them. It goes to the Microsoft Teams account. I can't get into that. So I have to have her do a separate step, and she's busy enough as it is. Chloe?
Oh no, I'm just like, just a random is, but like as SGA members, like would it be too much to be like, as SGA members, would we be able to have access to those things? Like, so at least we know what's going on in the faculty realm. I know that's why Candace and the other advisors are here to kind of bring that to us. Because that's also super important. But like, it's just a thought, like, as student representatives, like we're student government, should we have access to stuff like that, like the teams, and then like, and we're not technically faculty, so I don't know how exactly that would work. But I don't know. I feel like maybe would that be something that would be of interest to us to inquire about?
I think that might be something, where Cody sits on the technologies committee, and I don't know if this is why you've raised your hand, Cody, but where you sit on that committee, that might be something you want to bring up.
That literally ties into my question here is this, if I like to think that we're on the chair's edge when it comes to all this information and stuff like that. We have, these SGA exclusives we can hand out to Daniel. But if we're hearing about it, it means that the staff and faculty have known about this for a while now, which means my question here is then, why is it the way it is? And what are the feelings on like the staff side? Is this something that the faculty think about or wouldn't mind? What's their opinions on it? I don't know if you can speak to that at all, Candace.
I don't think that we think about it. I think I'm that annoying person that keeps bringing up, why aren't the students involved? Why is this not? Why don't we have students? Because I really, truly believe that there's good intentions, but I don't think people think about you all enough. And that's just my opinion. So I think you should be able to access the leadership, the leadership team meetings. Why wouldn't you be able to get that information? That's about you, and I think people forget that they're making decisions about you and they're, I don't know. So Cody, I don't think that they do think about it. I don't think so. And I think that it's not because they don't care. It's just that it's survival at this point, and they're trying to get their voice heard. So they're not thinking about who else should be in the room. And I'm like, you guys, I don't know. Have you guys been getting the invites to Netchi? I asked for that. I specifically asked that you all start getting those notifications.
Nope.
And they're like, yeah, sure. And you haven't. So
Nope.
I think we should push this. You all should have access to that. Why? You're all adults.
I think I got one email from the Netchi team. They were like saying, "Oh, you have been," it was like a rated email to take part in the survey, but I don't think it would be like, hey, we're reaching out to you. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's exactly what that was, but I did get like a survey thing from them. Like that was a while back, though.
Yeah, we're doing stuff to you, not with you, right? And that's a problem.
It's like, if you think about it, if you it goes back to that, organizational chart hierarchy that we were talking about earlier, where it's like it goes to the president, to the whoever, the faculty. It's almost like us as students, and I hate to say this, even us as student leaders are the last to know. I mean, we were told, and I think I had mentioned this, one of the events I went to was chat with the president during SGA week, and they had said, oh, they're going to send out an email announcing the new hire for the chief diversity officer. Cody and Chloe, you were there, right? Remember when he said that? When he answered one of the questions about it, he said he was going to send out an email with the new hire information about her. She starts in a week and a half, and we still don't know. Most of us probably found out through the newspaper.
Yeah, our communication sucks here, and it doesn't help that you're students. You should have access to everything I have access to. There's no secrets, of course, not union stuff, because you're not in a union, but everything else that goes on at the college, you should all know about. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah, Cody.
So with that said, and the perspective that they don't think about it, I think it sucks now, but going forward, I think that can work in our benefit now, that we can easily make them aware of it and go from there. I definitely think that should happen. But I also think this is definitely a conversation for a later time, when we can be more organized, get our thoughts together. But I feel like this situation speaks to what you're talking about, Stephanie, that we're just not where the SGA is in this weird middle zone where they have to pay homage to us, but that doesn't mean they have to care necessarily. They have to talk to us as if we're important. They have to talk to us with the emails and stuff like that. And like you said with the emails, oh, we'll get on it. Oh, you reminded us, we get on it. Now, that could talk about how much influence we have here on campus or what we need to do to be more involved ourselves to change that and what we can do. But I think me bringing it up is a good first step, and maybe we should have that conversation later.
Yep. Candace?
I don't want to belabor this, but Cody, you are important. You're very, very important. And I remind people that if you guys didn't exist, we wouldn't have jobs. So what they're not treating you to your level of importance is what is going on, and your level of importance. So I'm going to end by saying that, but understand at least you have one person that's always saying, why aren't the students here?
And we appreciate that.
Why aren't the students here? And Stephanie, you were a perfect example. You went to Academic Senate. You were able to have the student voice. We're talking about the students, and I'm like, someone's like, isn't Stephanie here? Why isn't she not saying it? Let her speak. So.
Yeah.
I had a
okay.
similar statement with the open, sorry, but I had a similar experience to you, Stephanie, when we were talking about the open forum with the president. And I had Ellen in my corner and was able to bring up to the group like, hey, Cody should have a voice here. I'm also a student here. And I was able to speak and be, at least hopefully, a little responsible for the decision about the mask mandate. I was able to speak on behalf of a lot of kids, but it feels like it needs that hand holding, which shouldn't be the case.
Okay, we need to. Okay, Cody, all college forum.
No, nothing to report.
Okay. Any other committees that we can think of? Okay. So I did, going into old business, or actually let's go, leadership team. Jason is not here, and unfortunately, but the reason Jason's usually not here is he has a prior conflict. So, Candace, do you want to do liaison?
I sure do. So, as I was mentioning earlier, I tried to put, the reminder when it comes to NECHI, when it comes to any of these decisions that are being made in the room. And just to speak quickly to, not quickly, but to speak to the hiring process. She was the one we thought would do the best at the college. And we were, you have that idea in your head, but then you don't know when they come and do the second interview. And then after that, I was convinced that she was the best person for what we need here, taking into account what she's done in the past, taking into account that she might be working with students, and taking into account that it's going to be very difficult to break through this sort of culture that we have at the college that has been building over a long period of time. And what I would say is, hopefully you never experience it, any type of disparaging or condescending, but there are students who have. And so we need to change the culture. And I'm speaking about faculty members, I'm speaking about people in all the different areas. We've been disparaging because we don't know any better. And I say we, but we all have things to improve. She's worked with the Worcester Police Department and Worcester Police Union. And the reason I say that is because that is a tough union to deal with. And I've been watching them. I'm not like, they're not horrible people, but they know what they know and they go for what they go. And I know that there have been issues diversity-wise with the Worcester Police Department. And she was able to apparently navigate those, which is super important to me to understand. Like, if she can navigate through Worcester, Massachusetts diversity and inclusion issues, she should have no problem with them out, right? There's tougher skins in politics and in Worcester. I know. So she should be able to handle them out. And she also has a plan, but she's not pie in the sky. She knows it's going to take time. She knows all the people that she needs. I feel like I'm writing her resume. So when the president asked for people to give feedback, I wanted to make sure that he knew that I thought she would be the best person. And it was because, first of all, she can answer my questions. And I don't have easy questions, but I also think her background, and I don't know if you know this, I think she worked at Anna Maria too. I don't know if that came out. I think she worked at Anna Maria before she worked at Worcester, in the Worcester City, I believe.
It was
So
Anna Maria.
It was Anna Maria? That's
Yep.
my 2 cents. So she has a sense of, and I think she built that program there, from what I understand, which is what we're going to need. You know, we're going to need a program or system to be built here. So she's done that at least once in higher ed.
Mhm. Anything else, Candace, or are you good?
I think that's it. Commencement, they put out the call for commencement.
Speakers.
It's voluntary for faculty. I'm probably going to recruit, depending on how many people sign up. I'm going to put my 2 cents in, asking people to come in if there's not a lot. And all you should know about, what's that, Evening of Excellence? Have you guys been notified about that yet? You may not. If you're not involved in it, you wouldn't know. But that's also going to be face-to-face, I believe. I don't know. Let me shut up.
Yep. And I know commencement is on campus. And I know the email went out, I think the beginning of the week or late last week, for volunteers for commencement speaker. And they are doing the 3 years. The 2021 and 22 graduates are eligible to walk across the stage. So that's exciting for those of us who are graduating. So old business. Cody?
Yeah, just quickly. The commencement speakers, is the competition tough for those? What do you have to do to become a commencement speaker?
You didn't get, are you graduating?
I'm not graduating.
Oh, it's for graduates only.
No. I mean, like, for future coding.
For a future Cody, basically what they're saying regarding commencement speech is, I think it's like 5 to 7 minutes, and it goes before the speaker committee. You know,
Do you
so
have to put it like a speech application? I don't want to derail this, but do you have to put a speech application? I can look up myself. I don't want to
you
derail
have
the
to put a
meeting.
speech. I can forward you the email I got, Cody.
All right, thank you.
Yep. For anybody who wants to know for the future. So, you know, one of the good things is we are doing on-campus graduation. It's 2 tickets per person, and it is going to be live streamed and recorded and placed on YouTube for later on. So, virtual, I did update the office list, but going forward, and this is where I'm going to need some help. I want to see, is there anybody who's willing to go in and rechange the dates for us every 2 weeks? Because that's a lot on my plate for both on campus and online.
So, if I were to take up such an illustrious position here,
Yeah.
Would it just be me just literally changing the 28 to a 1? And then to a
Basically,
2?
all you'd have to do is on the sheet. And if you want to do it, and you and I can Zoom later and I can walk you through it. It's not that hard.
I did it once before. Did you notice?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was it good?
Yes.
Then we're
Because
good. I'll do it.
all you have to do is make sure that you erase the names that are on there.
Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
Okay, thank you, Cody. So it's already been updated. I sent it out. Usually what I do is when I update it is I send an email to everybody to make sure they know it's updated. The dates are updated. So as a reminder, guys, that is a requirement of sitting on SGA, is to do your office hours. whether you do them online or on campus, it does not matter. Just make sure you sign up. And we are still doing our biweekly meeting. We have one next Friday on Kumo Space. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we talked about the community building day, which is very nice. So we don't have to go into that. We can also talk about that more on our non-SGA week as well. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Is videos? Do we talk about videos?
Videos are coming up. So, Cody, I'm gonna go to the SGA board.
Okay.
What I had heard from Kathy and Chloe, I want to thank you very much for updating the SGA board with the minutes and the agenda. But I guess that's going to be changing now. I don't know if you heard this from Kathy, but this is what she told me on Tuesday. Instead of having the minutes and agenda go up on the board, they're gonna I guess they're gonna ask marketing to put together a QR code so people can go up and scan the QR code and it'll bring them to the SGA involved mount page. So we don't have to print them out and put them up every week. What's up, Chloe?
So just regarding that, like I feel like, I mean, this is just my opinion. If there was a QR code, I would not look at it. That's what I would be like. I'm not really one who's into technology all that much. So
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, it's a QR code. I can't just stop and look at it. I have to pull out my phone and I have to scan all that. So that's just my thoughts. But then also, if that is definitely the plan that we're gonna go with, if that's already been decided, then what are we gonna do with that extra space?
I don't know. That's what we have to figure out with the SGA board. And I think a lot of it is going to be, and for me, I'd want to table like a lot of the conversations around the SGA board and stuff to our off week. Because that's our design, because we can sit there and talk about it for hours about designing it. Cody, what's your question?
Another question. So we'll save the bulk of it for that, but just your concern, Chloe. I think when me and Jen had a conversation that we wanted the QR codes to be a staple on the boards for people who want to see it digitally, but the paper element was still going to be there. The left-hand side was going to be allowed for similar postings to be made if we wanted them to be made. So I feel like that's going to be more of an option. I don't know if plans have changed. I don't know if you heard anything, Jen, but at the design meeting that we went to, that was the plan at that point.
Jen, do you want to unmute and talk about it?
So I got an email with their design already. Cody, it was sent to you too. If I can screen share, I can show you what they look like right now as to what they decided
I can
and what
give
they did for
you,
us.
I'll make you co-host so you can screen share it.
Okay. Let me know when we're ready.
You are co-host,
Okay.
so it should give you screen sharing capabilities.
So this is one of them. So like this is the one that's got the 3 boards. So on one side, it's got all the SGA, what it is. It's got a QR code for here. The middle one's going to be where we have current event photos of things that we've done. The third one can put current events, or we've got the slots for 4 different things. So we still could put minutes up if need be, because this is supposed to also be for events that are occurring. But it could also be up-to-date minutes if need be. And that's one. I'm not sure if you can still see this. Can you see this?
Yes.
Meet your SGA team? Or no?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be the other one where we have the pictures of us and then our little blurbs underneath.
Okay.
That's what they designed so far.
I think that looks really good. I don't know what anybody else thinks about it.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
So I think that's what we need to, so that's good. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the other things on my list is, I think today is we have to do the SGA videos. I think today's the last day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were supposed to have them done. Who has done it?
I did mine.
She's the only good doobie.
Yeah, I know. I have to do mine.
I was gonna say I started it, but I didn't actually get it submitted or sent to anyone.
Emailed it
Okay.
to, wasn't sure.
So those have to get up. And then we have to get that board up because of recruiting. We have to do some recruiting, guys. And speaking of recruiting, really quick, I have a favor to ask everybody. After the meeting today, I'm going to put 2 links in the chat. So I need you guys to click on these, because these, so far, the only person who has all of their signatures in for next year's SGA is Chloe. So Cody and Justina do not yet. So if you guys want to work on that after the meeting, that would be great. So they can get their things in, so they can. Why are you not posting yet? Come on. Only do one at a time then. Fine. Sorry. I'll actually email them to you after the meeting. It's probably easier to do it that way. I'll email everybody the links after the meeting, because I don't think the chat likes me. But
And just like general stuff. I did this the last couple semesters. If you guys have an online class, just ask your professor. You should post it in a discussion board.
yeah,
That's how I got the bulk of mine the last couple semesters too.
yep. Chat doesn't like me right now. So the new business is also for those who are coming back to SGA in the fall. I need you to pull out your calendars, please. And because on June 18th, and I know Justina wasn't here to hear this, it's a Saturday from 12 to 6. All new in SGA members are going to be attending SGA University. It was something we did in the fall last summer as we came in, and I can tell you from personal experience, it's an all-day event with Dave Kelly, who is amazing. He is an amazing individual. He knows what he's talking about. He is he works with everything from teaching you how to run an SGA meeting, Robert's rules, which is what we follow, to structuring hierarchies. He's actually the gentleman that Ernest and I used when we rewrote the Constitution and bylaws. So, this is something you don't want to miss. And I know when Kathy and I spoke about it, she said it's going to be required for SGA members. Those of us who are graduating, we can't go. Sorry. Bummer. I know. I asked.
I'm graduating and I get to go
Why?
because I'm coming back in the fall.
Oh. So, yep. And then, so that is something you have to do as an SGA member. And just get people recruited for SGA. That's one of the big things we need. And nominations are out, so have your friends, if they want to sign up for SGA. And I'm just checking something. Elections are, oh, yeah, I know when they are the week of April. Let me just get an exact date for you. I know the week of my birthday. So I think they go from the 18th of April to they go from the 18th of April to the 21st of April, because once elections are done and you find out you're elected, as a reminder, you have to attend either the first 2 SGA meetings after you've been elected. And the reason it's only going between the 18th and the 21st is because we have a SGA meeting on the 22nd. So that gives the new elected members an opportunity to attend that first meeting. And that's when nominations will be in, nominations for SGA to elect a new advisor, hired board or executive board for next school year. With that, is there anything else I have missed or anything else? Any last words?
What time was the Kelly meeting for June 18th?
12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Anything else I have missed? For those who are graduating, I say this in every event I go to, as a friendly reminder, please do not forget to keep an eye on that iConnect graduation link. On your iConnect, underneath the COVID information should be that green graduation. Keep an eye out on that, because I think commencement announcements come out Monday. Our SGA meeting is scheduled for April 8th at 10 a.m. And my voice has had it. I am calling this meeting to adjourn at 11:31.